Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Give us just another minute or two as we allow others to join the webinar. Good afternoon. Give us just another minute and then we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Cybersecurity Products and Services Vendor Engagement. We are glad to have you with us today. Before we get started, let's cover a couple housekeeping items. Just a reminder that you can change your audio by switching between computer and phone. We want to remind everybody that everybody is muted this morning, but if you have questions or if you have something to address with the group, please open your Q&A box and put your questions in there, and we'll take time to answer those as we go today. But before we get started, if you would, please raise your hands real quick and let us know that you can hear us pretty clearly this afternoon so we have a good audio connection. All right, thank you. Also, we will be making a handout available after the webinar ends. Today, the speakers are going to be Stephanie Harrison, Director of Cooperative Procurements, Marie Cohan, Statewide Digital Accessibility Officer, Carl Jackson Jr., Procurement Lead, and Teresa Williamson, Business Outreach Coordination Director. The agenda today, we will be going over market engagement goals and solicitation scope, DIR overview, cooperative contract solicitation process, general information for vendors, Texas Government Code 2161 form, setting up a Tech for Texas vendor account, digital accessibility, next steps, discussion and questions, and conference closing. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on over to Carl.
All right. Thank you, Patty. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carl Jackson. I am the procurement lead for the upcoming Cybersecurity Products and Services Request for Offer, or RFO. Thank you for attending this vendor engagement forum. The purpose of this forum is to engage with potential respondents and others that have an interest in the RFO. We're going to be sharing a lot of information, but we also are interested in hearing your feedback. And so there will be an opportunity for that as well towards the end of the briefing. You may utilize the Zoom communication features to ask questions or to get clarifications on the upcoming solicitation. But as I mentioned, we do want to get your feedback, including what is the current state of the cybersecurity products and service market. So we hope that you will share that with us towards the end. Next slide, please. So market engagement goals and solicitation scope. Next slide, please. So the goal of this engagement is to facilitate better solicitation responses by informing vendors, new and old, of the upcoming solicitation, removing any barriers that may be present, and then, as previously mentioned, receiving feedback and input from the vendor community on what we could do better this time around with this cybersecurity solicitation. Also promoting healthy competition, and then lastly, to reduce costs. Next slide, please. Okay. So this RFO is a resolicitation of RFO DIR CPO TMP 550 Cybersecurity Products and Services. DIR expects to scope the following categories, but are certainly not limited to these: resource, asset, and data protection and tracking, endpoint, network, and cloud security, authentication and authorization, threat detection and security monitoring, forensic and incident response, training and awareness, and lastly, emerging technologies. Next slide, please. So the bottom line here is DIR is looking for partnerships with industry vendors that understands the agency's business needs and willing to work collaboratively with DIR and other vendor partners to provide the best value to the state of Texas. Next slide, please. We are looking for partners who understand DIR customer needs and offer best value solutions, who offer solutions and delivery methods that meet next generation customer demands, and who can deliver on that understanding through offerings that contribute to overall success for DIR, its customers, and partners. Next slide. So I'm going to give a kind of a brief overview of DIR. Next slide. So the DIR service delivery model is broken down into 4 parts. Cooperative contracts, or co-op. This is the do-it-yourself model or self-service model where our customers can go procure their hardware or software products and services using our DBITs or deliverables-based IT contracts, or utilizing our staffing services contracts and take advantage of our bulk purchase initiatives. And there's communications, or CTS and CCTS. DIR is responsible for the Capital Complex Telephone System, or CCTS, and it is a product of DIR. We are also responsible for the internet and network operations for the state of Texas and for all of our customers who use these services, and for security operations and keeping the state secure and our operations secure for customers who utilize DIR services. These are handled through our Network Security Operations Center. Shared Technology Services, or STS, this is the we do it for you model of services available to our customers. These services do require an agreement with DIR and include our data center services, the texas.gov portal, the Open Data Portal, which is a free state repository for public data, and security services, which are services available to help keep our customer systems operating securely. And then lastly is our policy and planning. So DIR is responsible for the IT strategic plan for the state of Texas. DIR also provides IT standards for the state of Texas and is a resource for our customers to help set IT standards for their entities. DIR also is responsible for reporting to the legislature on the state of technology for Texas. Next slide, please. DIR eligible customers include Texas state agencies, county or local government offices, and public education entities of all sizes. Our contracts cover a wide variety of information technology products and services and are constantly expanding to meet the needs of our customers. Customer eligibility can vary by contract and service areas. Therefore, vendors are encouraged to visit the DIR homepage for updates. Next slide, please. So the benefits of using DIR cooperative contracts are, with our user-friendly process, we save customers money, time, and simplify the sales process for our vendor partners, creating savings. Our customers can leverage the state's buying power to lower prices. They can obtain the best value and buy in bulk at an aggressive discount without the need for a lengthy procurement process, which results in significant savings. Streamlining the purchasing process. DIR has done the heavy lifting of procurement already by negotiating the contracts and putting them in place. So our customers no longer have to prepare competitive solicitations or evaluate submissions from vendors, which shortens the customer's procurement process significantly. Our customers issue a purchase order, or PO, directly to the vendor with the DIR contract number noted. The benefits to the vendor: customers can easily, thank you. There you go. Customers can easily search for your products and services and filter the results and quickly find the vendor that's right for their specific requirements. I'll note here that vendors are required to report to DIR once a month their sales, who they sold to, what they sold, and at what discount and price, and if any resellers or subcontractors were used. Next slide, please. Thank you. So each year, state agencies and public organizations rely on DIR to help find and purchase technology products and services. In fiscal year 2025, customers purchased over $3 billion of products and services through cooperative contracts, which resulted in $270 million in savings for the state of Texas. And 25% of that was spent with vendors that would fall under the Texas Government Code 2161. The top three customer purchases from the state agencies, local governments, and K through 12 institutions. Next slide, please. So I'm kind of going to go over a quick overview of the cooperative contract solicitation process. Next slide. So the solicitation process consists of three phases: planning, solicitation, and then the evaluation and award phase. The planning process consists of posting pre-solicitation notices and holding vendor engagement forums such as this one, and requests for comments and feedback. Following the planning phase, the solicitation will be posted on Electronic State Business Daily, or ESBD. It is important that you read the solicitation carefully after it is posted, paying great attention to the schedule where you will find pre-proposal conference dates and question and answer periods, response instructions, evaluation criteria, and value adds. Last, the evaluation and award phase. This phase consists of performing administrative reviews, reviewing any pass-fail criteria, and seeking clarifications if needed, and conducting evaluations and negotiations. Next slide, please. So the next few slides, I'm kind of going to drill down into each of these phases a little bit. So with planning, again, opportunity for DIR to engage with incumbents and potential respondents through vendor engagement opportunities such as this one. It's also a forum for incumbent and potential respondents to understand the cooperative contracts program and DIR's vision. And then lastly, there's an opportunity for DIR to engage with potential respondents and discuss the upcoming solicitation and the scope requirements. Next slide, please. So planning continued. It provides vendors lead time to identify and share with DIR new scope categories and market changes. Also to identify and share with DIR lessons learned and improvement opportunities during the solicitation process. It also ensures good standing with the time for good standing with the state of Texas through the Comptroller of Public Accounts and the Secretary of State websites. And then it also allows time to obtain, for vendors to obtain resellers' letters of authorization, if applicable, as well as obtain accurate and current VPATs and develop accurate and current PDAA. Those last two, you're going to hear more about those a little bit later in the brief. So next slide, please. Solicitation process, okay, continued. DIR posts a solicitation to the Electronic State Business Daily. Solicitations will include the background, requirements, response instructions, high-level evaluation criteria, key dates associated with the procurement, potential contract documents, etc. DIR entertains vendor questions during a designated period through a rolling question and answer process. If something is not clear, that's an opportunity to get clarity. So we encourage vendors to do that. Don't make assumptions. DIR may post addendums to the solicitation, so be sure to monitor ESBD as updates could happen. Next slide, please. Okay. DIR will establish designated points of contact, and primary contact for this particular RFO will be me. So avoid any attempts to contact agency personnel not listed as the POCs for the solicitation. Doing so could lead to disqualification. Address all response instructions. Neglecting to comply may cost you points, but could also lead to disqualification or hinder further consideration of your responses. And then lastly here, review responses and basically review them again, double checking it. Don't submit any incomplete response. Make sure it's a comprehensive packet. Acknowledge all addenda posted, and make sure someone with authority to bind signs your response. Next slide. Okay, evaluation, negotiation, award. So this process can be lengthy, so vendors are encouraged to be patient as we evaluate responses and prepare for next steps of the process. Be sure to comply with agency interaction policy. Avoid contacting DIR personnel beyond those identified in the solicitation. DIR may conduct vendor discussions to clarify DIR requirements and or responses. And then DIR will notify respondents once evaluations are complete and DR has identified apparent awardees to indicate whether they are invited to negotiations or not. Next slide. DR considers any new information obtained orally or in writing throughout the process. Excessive exceptions to DIR standards, terms, and conditions may result in delayed negotiations and/or no longer being considered for potential award. Lack of response to DIR's inquiries may result in cease to negotiate actions as well. Next slide, please. So the next few slides be some good general information for vendors. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly because I had mentioned, but DIR does have a YouTube page, and so there'll be an opportunity for you to obtain, further training on this information. Next slide, please. So when you go to the dir.texas.gov website, most of the information you will need is under the Selling Through DR link on the right-hand side, about midway down of the page. Once you click on that link, it will take you to the homepage for Selling Through DIR. Next slide, please. Yeah. There, you would click on the Schedule Solicitation Opportunities to view current and upcoming solicitation opportunities, and this would really be your first step on how to bid and secure a DIR contract. Next slide, please. Okay, so just some lessons learned I'm going to share here. So top reasons why evaluations and contract negotiations do get delayed or even terminated. Incomplete responses. So be sure that if you are going to respond to a solicitation, that it answers everything that's requested in the RFO. Missing pricing form, if that's applicable. Also, incomplete Texas Government Code 2161 form. You're going to hear more about that a little bit later in the brief. Missing or incomplete VPAT and PDAA information. Excessive or material exceptions to DIR standard terms and conditions. And then lastly, the vendor information on response not matching what's listed in the Dun and Bradstreet database. Next slide, please. Okay. So some additional resources for you. So Texas Open Data Portal, it's a good website. Vendors are encouraged to regularly check the Electronic State Business Daily or ESBD and schedule solicitation opportunities under the information for vendors page there on the website or future communications from DIR. And then also for more information on how to do business with the state of Texas, please visit the comptroller's webpage. As you can see as the website listed there at the bottom. Next slide, please. Okay, so I briefly mentioned that DR does have a YouTube channel, lots of good information for vendors and interested parties. So encourage you to subscribe to get notices when new training is posted and available. I think with that, I'm going to be handing over the next portion of the brief to Teresa Williams.
Thank you, Carl. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Teresa Williamson. I'm the Director of the Business Outreach Coordination Office. Let's talk about the Texas Government Code 2161 form required with each bid submission. Next slide, please. All vendors will complete a Texas Government Code 2161 subcontracting plan, also known as your HSP. Please visit the link provided for the most current approved copy of the subcontracting plan. Please do not modify this document. It is an editable copy. Next slide. All respondents are required to submit an HSP. Failure to submit a completed, signed HSP will cause your response to be rejected. This is a pass or fail item. There are 3 ways to complete your HSP. You will either 1, self-perform, 2, meet or exceed the hub goal and complete method A, or 3, not meet the hub goal and complete method B. Next slide. Our contact information is listed here. Please remember that the HSP is a pass or fail document. We will provide a courtesy review of your HSP after the RFO opens and prior to the due date as time permits. You must contact us no later than 10 days prior to the due date of the RFO. Your BOC office is here to assist you in completing your HSP correctly. Also, a reminder, if you're corresponding with the BOC office, please copy the procurement lead on all of your emails. And thank you. Next slide. Turn it back over to you, Carl. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Teresa. I'll take over for this section really quick. My name is Stephanie Harrison. I'm the Director of Cooperative Procurement, and we're going to go through how you set up your Tech for Texas vendor account. Next slide, please. Vendors that are required to register in the Tech for Texas in order to bid on solicitation opportunities with DIR. This is the replacement solicitation response portal for vendors. It's replacing BidStamp. So if you have a current BidStamp account, you will not be able to submit to this response through BidStamp. You will need to register in Tech for Texas. If you are a current vendor and you hold a contract and you've reported vendor monthly sales reports, your agency more than likely already has an account set up. You will need to contact the individual within your agency that submits the monthly sales reports, and they can get you added to the portal for you to be able to submit a response to this particular solicitation. Let's see. The following steps will be there. We will have the actual instructions posted as attachments in the solicitation document once that is posted to the electronic state business daily. But this is just to give you a heads up and a brief overview of how to sign up for a Tech for Texas account. Next slide, please. Vendors will be routed to the registration page, and you'll have to proceed with the following steps. You'll need to enter your vendor legal name as recognized by the feds for your income tax, your UEI, your FEIN, which is your federal income tax identification number, and your DUNS number. These must be unique to the agency that you're submitting a response under. If you enter the information and the information has already existed in the Tech for Texas account, you will receive an error message and you won't be able to proceed. You'll have to contact the procurement lead in order to see where an issue might be. You're going to enter all this information, make sure it matches exactly. Your information should also match what is on file with the Texas Secretary of State. This is how we verify that you're a company that's eligible to do business in the state of Texas. You cannot register with only the DUNS number. Any of the fields that have asterisks are mandatory. The primary contact is going to be the user that's registering under the vendor account. That user will be the account's first administrator and able to add other users to the account. Like I said previously, if you have a current DIR contract and you've submitted a monthly sales report through the new VSR portal, the vendor sales report portal, that is Tech for Texas. And so your company already has an account, and you'll need to get with the person who is submitting those reports for your agency to be added to your account. Next slide, please. As you go through, you'll click next at the bottom of each page and it'll take you to the next screen. This is where you submit your information on whether or not you are a hub eligible. This is for Texas entities only. If your entity is not based in Texas and not hub eligible, please leave this section blank. Click next and go to the next slide, please. You will have additional questions in the Tech for Texas account. Is your company currently registered with the Texas Secretary of State to do business in the state of Texas? Select yes or no. Do you agree to use the system solely for the intended professional purposes and comply with all relevant guidelines? Select yes there. If you select no, you will not be able to continue. Please note that it's not required that you are registered with the state of Texas to do business at the time you submit the proposal, but you may not proceed to the next stage after evaluations if you're not registered. So we highly recommend, it can take some time to get registered. So we highly recommend that you take care of that as soon as possible, as soon as you know that you're going to be submitting a response to DIR for a potential contract award. Next slide, please. So when you click next at the bottom, you're going to be taken to the validate information. page, which is your Duns and Bradstreet information. This information needs to match exactly what is on your Dun and Bradstreet account for the entity that you're submitting a response other. We have a lot of entities that have subsidiaries, so make sure that you're using the right account and the correct information to submit your response. You will be providing the DUNS number. You will choose whether to use the vendor's own provided information or DIR's information from Dun & Bradstreet. Click the option that you choose. Click register at the bottom of the page, and then a window should appear confirming the registration of your company organization, and a system-generated email will be sent to you containing your login credentials. If or when you're executing these previous steps, you're shown a message that an account for your organization already exists. You'll need to contact your organization's vendor admin to get established as a user under your organization's account. So again, I'm going to say this one more time. If you are already a current vendor and you've been submitting monthly sales reports for the month of October, your company already has an account in Tech for Texas, and you'll need to go through your agency in order to get added to that account. Next slide. Once you've logged into Tech for Texas, you may find yourself, it may default back to the vendor sales reporting app, just out of the way it's currently set up. In order to navigate and edit your organization's profile and add users from your organization or submit proposals to an opportunity, you'll need to navigate to the vendor management app portion of the application. Once cooperative solicitations have been posted, there are not currently any posted in Tech for Texas yet. But once those are posted on the Electronic State Business Daily, they will be available in Tech for Texas by link. You will be able to receive responses, and you'll see those in your own Tech for Texas account. Instructions on how to respond to solicitation will be included in the vendor pre-solicitation conference. That is not this. This is the vendor engagement form. And they will also be included as attachments in the solicitation posting. The date for the pre-solicitation conference will be posted in the RFO documents to the Electronic State Business Daily once the RFO is posted. You can navigate through Tech for Texas by clicking on the waffle icon that's in the top left corner. That will give you different levels to click around within the Tech for Texas portal. Next slide, please. And now I'm going to hand it over to Marie Cohan.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hello, Marie Cohan. I lead the statewide digital accessibility program for Texas, and I'm going to go over the digital accessibility requirements and forms for our solicitations. Next slide, please. So a little bit of background on digital accessibility is the practice of designing and building technology that removes barriers for people with disabilities, preventing interaction with or access to our websites, our digital tools, and our technologies. These digital tools and technologies include products, services, communications, and related supporting documentation or deliverable documents. All of this is covered under Texas Government Code Chapter 2054, Subchapter M. It's also covered in accompanying rules TAC 206 and TAC 213. And the state of Texas also follows the World Wide Web Consortium WCAG standard 2.1 AA. There is required documentation that vendors must provide not only at the time of responding to our solicitation, but if they become an awarded vendor with a contract, then at any time in life of the contract, if one of our customers comes to them and asks them for updated accessibility documentation, they do need to provide that. Next slide, please. So I'm going to go over 3 different documents. They all may apply for a particular solicitation, or only 2 of them may apply for a particular solicitation. So a policy-driven adoption for accessibility. This is the self-assessment for the vendor organization that is responding. It has nothing to do with the product or service offering, and this is a required document regardless of product or service offering. We also have a vendor accessibility development services information request for development services. And then we have the accessibility conformance report for any type of other commercial product like SaaS, PaaS, any managed services, the product side of things. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, the policy-driven adoption for accessibility. This is a spreadsheet that is included in our solicitation packets. This is an assessment that the responding vendor will complete, and they will complete it in mind of their own organization. So it has nothing to do with their response and the products and services listed in their response. This is us trying to understand where that responding vendor is with regard to their own digital accessibility maturity. So we want them to go through and answer those questions, thinking about their own organization, their own business practices within their organization, and score each of those questions with a 0, 1, 2, or 3. This is a required form. We do want it to be complete with at least a score of greater than 0. If it's missing or incomplete or has a 0 score, it will fail for the digital accessibility evaluation. And then the procurement lead will probably be reaching out to the responding vendor. Next slide, please. This is the PDAA maturity matrix. So in the first column, it lists out the components. Those are basically the questions or sections of the self-assessment. The next column is the launch stage. So that's early stage maturity. The integrate stage is in the middle. That's advancing, more intermediate level of accessibility maturity. And then at the very end, it's the optimized stage, and it lists out what that looks like. And so the self-assessment is designed to kind of score you in one of these categories. It is okay if your organization is at an early stage. We prefer to know that organizations are just adopting a digital accessibility policy versus organizations that have not adopted one at all and have no intention of adopting one. So early stage scoring is perfectly acceptable. Next slide, please. So next I'm going to talk about accessibility conformance reports. These you may have heard or referred to them as VPATs. The VPAT is actually the template, the industry template that a vendor, organization, or product owner will use when testing their product, and then they'll complete that template for each of those different standards and expected success criteria. They'll list how their product conformed to that particular standard. They'll provide an explanation of any kind of gaps that were identified. And then that entire completed form becomes an accessibility conformance report. DIR is looking for that for every single product that is listed in the respondent's pricing list. So if you have several products listed, please provide an ACR with those products. This applies to any software or hardware that has a user interface. So for example, there's some product offerings that may be like a camera or some kind of surveillance tool or some kind of sensor measuring tool. Those would not necessarily require an ACR unless the camera has like a digital interface of some sort. But if there's an accompanying software package that is going to be used to maybe look at security levels or surveillance footage or anything along those lines, then that SaaS package that goes with the actual hardware, that would need to provide an accessibility conformance report. So if there's any type of user interface, that's kind of the guide, then probably like 90% sure it's going to require an accessibility conformance report. We do ask that you use the VPAT version 2.4 or higher. We ask that it's completed on actual testing, not general product knowledge. We would like the product owner to actually go in and do some testing. Hopefully they're doing some manual testing as well, because automated testing will not capture everything. And then if there are any known gaps, something comes up where it's partially supported, we do ask that they provide an explanation. That just helps our customers make a very informed decision. The compliance burden is on our customers. The accessibility burden is on the vendor community. So we really do rely on that partnership, and we ask that you support our customers with regard to supplying this documentation and doing good testing on your products. Next slide, please. This is an example of the different standards that are on the VPAT. They're broken into 4 principles, which are perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. And then each of these standards will have some sort of expected success criteria from the testing. These are all links that will be available to you if you want to dive deeper into each of these. Next slide, please. So when you test your product, it'll either support the success criteria, it will support with exceptions, or partially support. We see sometimes it will not support, maybe it's not even applicable, so you can document that, or it was not evaluated for some reason. Typically that means it was a level AAA standard, and we do not require any of our products to be tested at level AAA. Okay, next slide, please. So we're going to move away from product offerings and talk about any kind of development services or like significant customization done on an application that is going to somehow impact the user interface. So this is the Vendor Accessibility Development Services Information Request. This also follows WCAG 2.1 AA. So any type of website development, web and mobile application development, any type of application development outside of web, you know, any kind of proprietary development within an agency, I would say you need to go ahead, once you develop that product, test it, and then complete the VPAP for that particular product and provide an ACR at the end of it. When you're responding, we want to know on this form, the VADSR, we want to know how your developers are trained, what kind of training do they go to, what kind of development tools are they using, what kind of testing tools are they using, what is the testing methodology, and how are defects tracked and remediated. It also asks on there what kind of service or support is provided in the event that there is some sort of defect in the developed application. What will the vendor do to support that defect? Is there a corrective action plan in place in the event that someone with a screen reader is not able to read something on the screen with that particular application? Is there a workaround or something that we can provide for them? We just want to be able to be responsive to our Texans. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are the questions. I just went through all of these very quickly, but just to go over again, they're asking about the developer side of it. So, you know, or the development methodology. So how does project management practices, including accessibility, is testing done iteratively at each sprint of the development cycle? Then moving into the actual developers, what kind of training are they getting? Is it in-house, external? You know, are they trained on WCAG 2.1 AA? And then what kind of development and testing tools, you know, you can go ahead and list those out if that's one of the services you're providing. Also provide your testing methodology. Do you only use automated testing tools? Do you do manual testing as well? You know, what type of manual testing? Does it include assistive technology like a screen reader? And then what kind of documentation, tracking, and resolving of issues and defects does your company do? We'd like to see what those processes look like. We'd like to see a list of those types of tools. And then what kind of support is provided in the event that there is a non-compliance issue. And we also ask for a sample of work if possible. We understand that it's not always possible for you to provide a sample of work. So in those cases, what we'll do is we'll do a quick accessibility test, like an automated scan of your homepage of your website, or a sampling of a couple pages of your website, and see how that scores. Again, that ties back to that vendor self-assessment I mentioned first. So if your organization is employing good digital accessibility practices, and you have some sort of business that provides a product or a service, a development service, your website should demonstrate your quality when it comes to digital accessibility. So that is why we'll do a quick scan or sample of your pages. Next slide, please. For anyone who's worked with us before at DIR, we used to offer vendor training. We no longer offer that. I am available if a vendor does want to talk to me a little bit more to understand accessibility. But we do have some tools on our website. We have templates on our website that are also included in the solicitation packet. And next slide, please. And there's the email address to our program account. There's a couple of us on the team. You're welcome to reach out if you have general questions around accessibility. If you have specific questions regarding any particular solicitation, you must add the procurement lead onto that communication. They must be looped into all communications. So for example, for this particular presentation, you would loop in Carl on all of your communications to us. But if it's just a general accessibility, trying to understand the law or our Texas administrative code, you are welcome to reach out and ask those questions. That's it for me. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Marie. Next steps, slide, please. Okay, so the next steps in our solicitation schedule, so anticipate an RFO release in early December of this year. That will be followed by an RFO solicitation conference approximately 1 or maybe 2 weeks after the release of the RFO. And so you can anticipate that. And then the RFO posting time will be approximately 8 weeks or 2 months. Keeping in mind, I mean, that will go across some holiday periods. So that could always be adjusted potentially. Responses must be submitted and specified in the RFO by the due date. Remember adherence to the POCs for the RFO once it is posted. Again, I, as your procurement lead, would be your general kind of primary POC, and then the other POCs as specific to those inquiries. Interested parties may contact the individual listed on prior slides for questions regarding the RFO bid stamp or Texas Code 2161 matters. And next slide, please. So with that, that concludes the presentation. At this time, we can open it up for any discussions and questions or clarifications that there may be out there.
All right, the first question is, will this deck be shared to all?
Yes, so this slide deck will be posted, so you'll be able to refer back to it at the conclusion of this forum session. I think there was another question regarding, is this a multiple award opportunity? So yes, cooperative contracts are a multiple award. And there was a question regarding, would there be pre-solicitation listings of opportunities? And so as I just mentioned, following the posting of the solicitation or the RFO, we will hold a pre-solicitation conference, again, approximately 1 or 2 weeks after the solicitation has been posted, to give vendors an opportunity to gather any kind of questions or clarifications they may need on the RFO.
All right, Carl, looks like we got some questions. It says, what was the reasoning for initiating a resolicitation?
Yeah, so the previous cybersecurity products and service RFO was, I think, FY20 or FY21. So co-op contracts typically run 5 years. And so this is the normal resolicitation time for this contract.
The next question says, last slide mentioned bid stamp, but we are no longer using bid stamp, correct?
That is correct, yes. My apologies for that. That's an update we need to do. Thank you.
This one says, where will the deck be shared?
It will be posted on the ESPD page under the pre-solicitation. So same place where you may have saw the pre-solicitation notice for this RFO, the slide deck will be posted there.
Who is the current incumbent?
These are multiple contract awards. All the current contracts are posted on the DIR website. There are currently 43 vendors that have contracts under the previous solicitation. You can go and search that by looking up cybersecurity or the previous solicitation number, which is in the slide deck.
How would this contract work after being awarded?
Right. So I kind of mentioned briefly or early in the brief that because DIR is doing most of the all the heavy lifting and the legwork, what happens is once the contract is put in place, then our customers, so state agencies, other authorized users, would be able to search the contracts available and your products and services, and then they would, essentially write a PO against that contract for the requirement to fill their requirements.
All right, this one says, how many vendors are you selecting?
So anticipated multiple, but it's not a set number. I mean, there is an evaluation process in which a competitive range is determined, but that's not a set number.
This one says, how many task orders are typical in any 1 year?
So the customers that utilize these are DIR customers. We have several hundreds, if not over 1,000 different customers, and the purchase orders are determined by need. So we don't have a set number of task orders. There are purchase requests that the customers utilize, and they make the determination on what their individual need is.
Okay, so this one says, so to start, all I need to do is go to the DIR website and register as a vendor under for Texas. And then the second question says, and after that, pay attention to the dashboard for the RFO being posted and respond with all needed forms being asked to submit.
Yeah, so that's correct, along with any updates. So there could be updates, addendums posted, particularly like when questions are asked, we will post those questions and answers for everyone in the vendor community to review, as this is a competitive process. And so to ensure that we keep the integrity of the process, we'll always post those questions and answers that are provided to any vendor so that all can see.
This one says, does a vendor have to be able to offer all services under the contract to win a contract or be able to offer certain parts?
Yes, so not required to offer all parts, but to, I guess, offer the requirements. So the scope, within the scope of the RFO.
So I just want to point out that some of these questions, we don't have the RFO posted yet. So this is a vendor engagement form to get feedback from you all about the processes and anything that has changed in the vendor community and with offerings that we may be thinking to submit. This isn't the pre-solicitation conference, so a lot of these questions that you all are asking are really more appropriate after the solicitation has been posted. You've read the RFO documents, and we do the pre-solicitation conference. So like how long is the evaluation and when it's awarded, we don't know until we get the responses and know how many responses we're going to have. So like last time we procured this, we had 92 responses. It took quite a while to evaluate those. We have not posted the open and close date to submit to solicitation. I said that a little earlier. The solicitation is not posted yet. This is the vendor engagement. And then as far as like scope questions, the scope has not been released yet. We're giving you a heads up as to what we're considering within scope. We're asking you all to help give us input on whether we're on track for cybersecurity products and services, or if there's new information that DIR may need to consider for that scope. So again, some of these questions that are very specific after the solicitation is posted, we ask that you submit those questions at that date, but this is the vendor engagement marketing forum and not the pre-solicitation conference. So very specific questions about, am I eligible? What this is, what can you tell us about the scope? We're asking you all for input into the scope that we presented. Did we miss anything? Was there something that we listed in the scope that is maybe outdated, antiquated, the terminology has changed? Those type of things. We're asking for the vendors to provide input. So I hope that helps with the rest of the questions. And if they're specific to the RFO, that has not been posted yet. So we can't answer the specific questions on the RFO.
Okay, there is a question that says, how will this work with the newly formed Texas Cyber Command?
That's all being developed. Cyber Command is a new state agency. They are in the very early stages of just hiring and writing up their policies and procedures. So that'll be, we will probably find out when you find out, because then most likely will be in the news, but it's not completely flushed out yet. But that is the governor of Texas initiative. So whenever they start giving updates on what is going to be involved there, that's generally going to be a news article that'll be posted.
Okay, this one says, what was the spend on the current contract? Was there a distinct split between services and HW/SW?
Hardware and software. That'll be in the solicitation document once we post it. That has not been posted yet.
This one's asking, will this also extend to PCI certification for the municipalities?
Will it extend to PCI certification for the so our customers, we have a wide customer base. We have state agencies, K through 12, higher education, local government, city, county, and then other customers as defined on the DIR website. So it depends on whether the customers are eligible, one, to make the purchase, and then if their entity allows them to utilize DIR. State agencies in Texas are required to use DIR contracts.
There's a question that asks, is this candidate submission process on this RFO cybersecurity similar to the submission on the DIR ITSAC?
No, that is a completely different program, different requirements. ITSAC is rate-based. This is not a candidate submission. This is for cybersecurity products and services. The scope will be defined in the RFO when it's posted.
Is subcontractor past performance eligible to be considered for the RFO?
The RFO is not posted, so we don't have that information out there yet, but there are subcontracting opportunities with the with prime vendors. So you are welcome to coordinate with vendors that may be submitting proposals to be a subcontractor under their contract.
This one says, I set up our vendor account on the Tech for Texas, but I think something may not match our DUNS. Can I change it?
If you can email Carl, his information is in the deck, and we can look into that.
This one says, if a new bidder is unable to commit to 26% on the HSP due to unknowns and commits to a lower percentage, is that considered a fail or does it adversely affect the grading?
The HSP is not graded. It is a pass or fail document. It's not taken into consideration as far as your other documents that are submitted. The prime vendor will decide how they will best fulfill a contract and complete the method that best describes that. So if you're self-performing, you'll actually complete the self-performing method.
Okay, this one says, will there be a requirement for GovRAMP, FedRAMP, or TexRAMP for this RFO?
Yeah, I think that's, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if the products that you're offering are fall under that requirement, then yes. So TexRAMP applies to anything that's cloud-based.
We provide IT managed services and software and hardware products. Do we need to submit these 3 forms on every response? PDAA, ACR, and VADSIR?
Is Marie still on?
I am so sorry, guys. What was the question again?
It says we provide IT managed services and software and hardware products. Do we need to submit these 3 forms on every response? PDAA, ACR, and VADSIR forms.
So if you're responding to different solicitations, then yes. If you're responding to one solicitation, it will be one PDAA for that solicitation. It will be a VADSER form for all of your development services. If you're just doing managed IT services and software and hardware products, it'll be an ACR for each of those that has a user interface.
All right, thank you. Given your explanation of the purpose of this engagement forum, do we provide input to you after this forum is over? Is it directly to the POC, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, feel free, please, to email me. So my contact information, I think it was on the previous slide. Yes, that would be the best way to contact me directly is through my email.
This one says, will subcontracting less than 26% on HSP lead to the fail?
No, it will not. Again, the prime vendor will tell us how they will best fulfill a contract and complete the corresponding method.
Okay, if new contracts are not based off of product brands, how is it determined if a product or software falls under a contract?
The scope for this is cybersecurity products and services. So if it's cybersecurity, it would be within scope of the solicitation. If it's not cybersecurity, it falls under one of our other scopes in a different solicitation.
All right, that looks like all the questions that we have.
Okay, great. Thank you, Patty. And so I guess with that, we will conclude the engagement form. Here are the points of contacts and the contact information. And thank you all for attending.